Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Plug with my boy Ishmael.
What up, what up, what up?
Yes, sir. You already know, of course, you are checking out the Week 15 preview show. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the to the Sports Plug YouTube channel page. And also, if you are on Twitter, please make sure you follow at my handle at X_Williams81. All right, Ish. Because Week 15 is Week 15, they started with not just Thursday night football games, but also Saturday night football games as well. So we are going to talk about the Thursday night football game first, leading into the Sunday games and also Monday night football. So the Chargers and Raiders. At the moment, last week, of course, we picked the Raiders to win that game, thinking the Raiders would bounce back and have a decent game against a Chargers team that just seems like they can't pull out these one-score game wins. But apparently they did it against the Raiders, the same way the Raiders play against the Chiefs. It seems like that's the only time they can compete with other teams. And the Chargers pulled off a really good win with the rookie Justin Herbert, who has now have 7 games of 300 yards passing, which is, of course, a NFL rookie record. And with this game, I feel like this game was more important for Justin Herbert moving into the future of what he's going to do with this Chargers team than the firing of Anthony Lynn or John Gruden or even Derek Carr with his groin injury. The way Justin Herbert was able to perform in this game, man, we talked about it all year, man. Justin Herbert is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFL for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, this game proved that. I think that this went beyond playing for Anthony Lynn. I think this was more so a pride thing for the Chargers. They just wanted to come in, step up, beat a team that is still in the playoff hunt, which is why we chose the Raiders, right? Like, we chose the Raiders because the Raiders have something to play for. They were playing for the playoffs. They needed to win out. And for them to come up against the Chargers, who have been an underperforming team all year long, haven't been able to close games out, for the Chargers to do what they did, Justin Herbert to lead the team down the field the way he constantly did in that game. I mean, it just speaks to how great he can be if he continues down this path. And I mean, they might have bought Anthony Lynn a little bit more time. I mean, because they played well on national TV, right? And that's what I've been saying all along. Like, you just want to see the team play well, so the ownership feels good moving into next season. And against the Raiders, they definitely came. They performed. The Raiders, however, it's unfortunate with the Derek Carr situation. However, Marcus Mariota stepped in and did a wonderful job. He played a great game other than, that interception late. Really, they were driving down. Had they not got that interception, they probably win this game.
Hold up. Speaking of Mariota, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, my gosh. This guy. I'm sure we don't want to see what this man is doing. So I wouldn't hold it against anybody if you went ahead and you tuned out. If you need to go to the bathroom, go ahead.
Hey, we ain't forgot about you, Mariota. No. We see you out there slanging that thing, baby. Titan Nation was ready for that boy Mariota to get in there. Look, shout out to my boy Mariota. MMA out there slanging that thing, baby. We proud out there. We proud. Even though they lost. And he threw a pick in the fourth quarter. He's still proud. That is the Flying Hawaiian. And like they said about Justin Herbert, looking up to Marcus Mariota, even though he don't perform on the field from time to time, will always be a great leader off the field. And that holds a lot more weight than what them guys like Fitzpatrick playing for 15 years and only playing 4 games a season.
See, this is why I didn't want to talk about Marcus Mariota, because I knew you were going to come start showing out for your boy Marcus Mariota.
Hey, ain't no showing out. This is real life, son.
It's not that serious.
Hey,
all right.
Just saying, that boy was out there slanging that thing. You ain't gonna tell me about that dime pass he threw?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, it was.
Down the chimney? Come on now. Don't disrespect my boy. When that boy healthy, that's Super Mariota.
He lost.
It don't matter about he lost.
The man
never lost.
The man lost. Okay.
He did not. All right. He won our hearts.
Oh, he won in our hearts. All
He
right.
won. He won our hearts
Yep.
over
That's what
with the
matters.
performance. That's all that matters.
That's all that
Because
matters.
why you think James Harden's still with the Rockets?
He's not winning in any Houston fans'
Because
hearts.
they won his. He won their heart over. That's what
No,
happened.
he did.
Bullshit. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and get on to that Saturday afternoon football game with the Bills and Broncos. The Bills, hey, if people didn't take them seriously before, y'all better take them seriously now because they put a butt whooping on a pretty good defensive team with the Broncos and put up 48 points at home. I'm sorry, an away game in Denver in that altitude. I mean, some of those scores, the last score was a garbage time type of score, but it really wasn't. And then you had two touchdowns within 17 seconds of each other for the Bills. I mean, at one point in time, it was kind of competitive. It was a kind of competitive game, and then after that, the Bills just ran away with it. And this is the first time the Bills have won the AFC East since 1995, before Josh Allen was even born. So shout out to the Bills organization. Shout out to Sean McDermott. Shout out to, of course, Josh Allen for getting the job done.
Yep. Shout out to me for picking the Bills to win the AFC East. Everybody go ahead, put L's in the comments for X because X was all up on the Dolphins, and now the Dolphins are done with. We can go ahead and say that the Bills are part of the elite group in the AFC. If last week's game didn't prove that to you, this week's game going into Denver against a tough defense should have proved it to you. These Bills are not the Bills of old. They are ready to play. They're ready to compete for the AFC Championship. And, you know, I definitely got to say, depending on how the Steelers play on Monday night, I may even have the Bills step ahead of the Steelers as the number 2 team for me. Now, in the standings, they won't be the number 2 team, but they will be, as far as like with the eye test, I would say they might be the number 2 team at the moment behind the Chiefs in the AFC, depending on how the Steelers play. If the Steelers come out and bounce back, I know they're playing the Bengals, but I think there's a lot to be said about their mentality going into that game.
And let people know about the eye test, because the eye test to me is a lot more important than these stats people love throwing out.
A lot more important than these stats that y'all like to throw out there, because somebody can have all the stats in the world, but if they don't pass the eye test, I'm sorry, it's just not. I'm not rocking with it, because it's totally different when you're on the field against a certain opponent than your stats in the books.
I mean, it's just, you're correct. It is what it is. It's not to hate on anybody. It's not to get on anybody. It's just, it is what it is. Speaking of stats, our boy Aaron Rodgers, of course, you know, does what he does when it comes to taking care of business. And the Packers, of course, took care of business against the Panthers. With this win for the Packers, is this something that they can build off of moving forward? I mean, because it seems like the relationship with Aaron Rodgers and Sean LaFleur has grown so much that at first, you know, beginning of the season, they were looking at, oh, what's wrong with you guys? What's going to happen for this to mess up? Mm-hmm. And it seems like, I mean, this relationship is a really, really good relationship, and I'm very interested to see what happens with the Packers in the playoffs, because we all know what the Packers do in the regular season. Mm-hmm. It's just when they get into the playoffs, ever since Aaron Rodgers won his first Super Bowl, they just cannot get the job done.
Yeah, and I was about to say exactly that. Like, you can't say that they're going to build off of this, because I think this is a game that they expected to win the whole time coming in. I mean, to be honest, the Panthers have played well all year, but they haven't played like a team that actually is going to come in and upset some of these better teams. They just play like a team that is hanging around, close but not quite there. So I would think the Packers go into this game knowing that they're going to win this game. Aaron Rodgers was, prepared for this game, came in. Aaron Jones has been hitting his stride. So, you know, for me, I just felt like the Packers already knew what was coming. They're not going to build off of this, but because they know what they need to do in the playoffs, and the playoffs is where it matters for them now. The regular season, the rest of this it doesn't really mean anything to me for the Packers, because I already know what kind of team they are. I know what they are capable of. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to do that in the playoffs.
Yep.
Real quick, just to touch on the Panthers, I would like for the rest of the season to see PJ Walker come in at quarterback. I'm not saying that Teddy Bridgewater did horribly, but
You're worried about the conservativeness.
yeah, I just don't like how I like Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback, but I don't like how conservative he is and in certain situations. And I feel like there are too many times where he plays too conservative and it hurts that team more than it helps that team. I'd like to see PJ Walker come in because I think PJ Walker, you're not going to be able to draft a quarterback at the end of this season. Let's just be honest. You're not going to draft one that's going to come in immediately and impact the team. You're going to draft somebody that you're going to build around. So for me, I think you might move forward with PJ Walker. Like, why can't you do that? But, money, politics, there are going to be some things going on.
It's a lot, honestly, that is involved. But what I will say that is also involved for PJ Walker's case is your head coach knows you pretty well. He was your coach. He was your coach in college. So I completely understand where you're coming from, and I wouldn't mind seeing it happen. I guess the questions would be for that is, do they really trust him that much to give him the franchise to play? I mean, to play with Christian McCaffrey, to play with Moore, to play with
Anderson
and whatnot. I don't know yet. We have to wait and see. I
think it's the same thing with the Philly situation
we'll get on that real soon.
They gave Teddy Bridgewater money, and I don't think that they want to look like they made a real bad investment, right?
So, I mean, it's kind of like if you think about the Raiders situation, it's kind of like Derek Carr and Mariota. Mariota's getting paid $17 million to be a backup. It's
what it is.
It is. I mean, it's a lot of question mark quarterback wise for a couple of teams moving forward. To where I've seen talks of Jameis Winston might go to the Bengals after this season is over with to back up Joey Burrow. Not to back him up. Sorry, to start a couple of games because Joey Burrow is going to be out because of the ACL, and then once Joey Burrow is 100% healthy again, he should take his starting role back. But I'm just saying, like, this is a first time in football where being a backup having a decent backup quarterback is like really now a necessity. Yeah. Because back then it was just, we'll get a backup quarterback, but just don't mess up the game. Now people are looking at backup quarterbacks to, hey, if you have to come in, we need you to actually win games. Look at the Saints, what they did with Teddy Bridgewater and now with Taysom Hill this year.
Well, I would say by how much, because the game has changed to being a passing league,
yes,
how much you're putting your quarterback in harm's way, you have to have a guy behind him that you can believe in that'll come in and win games. Because, again, since it's a passing league, that guy's not coming in just to hand the ball off. That guy's coming in to run the offense and throw the ball.
Yes.
So, especially depending on, like, what system you run. Because if you're running, like, a system in Arizona, bro, you can't just have any guy behind Kyler Murray. You need somebody that's going to come in there and sling that rock.
Same thing with the Ravens, what they do with Lamar Jackson. You have RG3 as his backup. You also have Trace McSorley as his backup. But like you said, if you're going to run that type of offense for the Ravens, you have to get these type of quarterbacks that are equipped to run that offense like a Lamar Jackson runs the offense.
Exactly.
All right. And speaking of quarterbacks that are always in harm's way every week. Deshaun Watson, Texans versus the Colts. We are split on this one because we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson when he played against the Colts a couple weeks ago with his head put down, and he said he was tired of losing because he botched the snap, he missed the botched snap.
Yeah.
We are now on the second game within 3 weeks against the Colts, and I feel like Deshaun Watson is going into this game with a burning passion in his stomach to go out and light these Colts up. I'd be honest with you, the Texans might lose by 20, but I have more faith in Deshaun Watson doing what he needs to do to try to get this job done. That's why I'm going with the Texans. I'm going with the Houston Deshaun Watsons.
All right, let me just say this. I know you've been smoking this morning, X, because for you to come out here and pick Deshaun Watson after last and use the argument basically that I used last week, where I was like, man, that man's going to come ready for a bounce back. You know, his teammates, they're going to come ready for a bounce back. They played real close against a Colts team that was in the playoffs.
Yep.
So on and so forth. And then they came out and got spanked by the Bears. They got, absolutely, man.
Because the Bears defense is good, and I picked that, and I was right. That's like I'm gonna be right again about the Texans winning this game.
Let me just
say, you done?
They had a chance to be fired up and ready to back their man, Deshaun Watson. And if Deshaun Watson doesn't come out with Jesus lined up on the line with him,
he's gonna have Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Then I don't think that they're going to be able to do what they need to do to help him out, because the rest of the team is letting Deshaun Watson down. Deshaun Watson is playing a career year, an MVP year, but the rest of his team are playing pee-wee football. They're playing tiddlywinks up there, all right? That offensive line, especially, playing tiddlywinks. They're not hitting anybody, all right? They just stand in front of the guy, and then they touch him for 2 seconds and go, oh, okay, play's done, and just let him run past them. Sometimes they don't even touch that man for 2 seconds. Sometimes they just let the man run right past them and just say, oh, go get him. And then they turn around and be like, Deshaun, here he comes. Like,
watch out, Deshaun. He's coming.
Right? They are terrible, horrendous. You could line up basically everyone out there. I could put my daughter out there, and she probably go sack Deshaun Watson against that offensive line, because my goodness, they don't touch anybody at all. I don't think that they're going to win this game, because if they wanted to be fired up and play for Deshaun Watson and help him out and, play for some pride or something, they would have done that last week against the Bears, a team that's way worse than the Colts. The Colts are in the playoffs in the AFC and doing really well. They were really close to the Titans. They could be leading the AFC South. Probably, some people might say they should have been leading the AFC South because they kind of laid an egg against the Oilers. But yeah, no. Texans, I'm not picking y'all again, because y'all last week made me feel like Boo Boo the Fool after making me think that y'all were going to show some pride. Y'all don't have any. I'm not picking them again.
Well, as y'all can hear, Ish feels the type of way about the Texans at the moment, and I definitely understand that.
It's embarrassing to be from Houston and have the Texans going out there doing what they're doing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not for me. Not for me. Not when you ain't never claimed them since day one. Nope. I'm good. I'm a Titans fan, so don't put that in my Chiefs
fan. But at the same time, we are from Houston, so
I understand that. That is not my team. Do not claim them. Nope. Does not embarrass me at all. Okay. Nope. Keep that for yourself, sir.
I guess the Oilers are from Houston anyway, so
exactly. So I'm gonna keep rocking with them, son. Alrighty then. Speaking of helmets, this is a helmet game right here, the 49ers versus the Cowboys. Because if this was in the 90s, this would be a hell of a game. This would be a game that I would probably take off of work to watch some primetime Dion versus some Michael Irvin or something like that. I would definitely watch that. But at the moment, we unfortunately have Andy Dalton and
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins, there you go. Yes, Jimmy G is out for the season, so we won't see Jimmy G anymore. But fortunately, I guess we get to see the Red Rocket for the Cowboys. Get to see Katie High School's favorite child, Andy Dalton, sling that thing for the Cowboys. And at the moment, both of us have.
Anybody's watching the game for. It'd be more like CeeDee Lamb or, Zeke. But
hey, Zeke has not. Speaking of Zeke, I'm happy you brought him up. His yardage per year since he's entered the league has gone down. That's not just on him. We're not going to just put all the blame on Zeke. There's different factors. The offensive line has crumbled since Zeke has entered the league for the Cowboys. I mean, every lineman, it seems like they've had a career-ending type of injury.
I mean, and it's crazy because at one time they were the best
offensive line in the league. That was the epitome of offensive linemen at one point in time.
They were the best line in the NFL, and now to see what has happened to them, I mean, it only goes to speak for the kind of game that they play.
It's not just that; it goes to speak on when I tell people all the time, you cannot be so quick to say, we're a dynasty. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Because in one instant, A player can get hurt, and it seems like it's a snowball effect from time to time. And I'm not wishing that on the Chiefs at all. I'm not wishing that on any team. But I'm just saying what the Patriots did over the last 20 years is something that we might not ever see in our lifetime again, just because of there's so many things that have to go right for a football team for that to happen. I mean, again, just look at this season alone with all the quarterbacks that have gone down.
Man, it's been crazy. Not even just the quarterbacks.
Just players in general.
You could argue and say, without the injuries, the 49ers are actually.
I agree. Might be the best team in the NFC West.
I mean, it is the Chargers. Same thing. You could say some of those injuries really crippled the Chargers and put them in a bad spot. Yeah. So it is all about how your team responds. Next guy up. And
facing that adversity.
Unfortunately for the Cowboys, they just didn't have that depth at that line. And, they trying to put things together here and there, but it's just not – it hasn't clicked for them. And that's why really Zeke's yardage has gone down. They've struggled because really they can't pass the ball. They've never been a team that could pass the ball without Zeke running the ball. And it only put more pressure on Dak Prescott as time went on, and the offensive line continued to get worse. It is what it is, man. But I got the 49ers because Kyle Shanahan going to have his boys ready to play. I don't know about that coach
McCartney. And I'm happy that you again brought him up, because to finish up with this topic, I honestly feel like if the Cowboys lose this game and pretty much finish off the rest of the season poorly, I think Mike McCartney is not going to be there next year.
Jerry Jones already came out and said he was going to keep him.
Who cares? Jerry Jones come out all the time and lie.
Jerry Jones.
Who cares? I don't give a damn. You feel shit? A lot of stuff people say and be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this," and they don't do it. Okay, so I don't give a damn. We gonna wait and see. We gonna wait and see when the season's over with, and Mike McCarthy's gone, and they go get Jim Harbaugh or Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern or whoever they go get. I'm gonna be like, I told y'all so. I don't want to, but I don't mind Mike McCarthy getting another shot with the Cowboys next year. But why?
I want to see him lose, so I don't mind that either.
I just feel like they need to just go ahead and move on. All right, Seahawks versus Washington. This is a very interesting matchup because apparently we have some folks out here, Mr. Ishmael, that feels like Washington might pull off this upset because of the way Seattle played last week against the Giants. I'll let you go ahead and start this one off, Saigon.
It was 2 weeks ago that they played the Giants and they
lost. There you go.
They got pretty much beat pretty steadily by the Giants. Washington has a better defense than the Giants. They have the fourth best defense in the league, I believe. Also, Washington has something to play for. They're playing for their division. Seattle also is playing for their division. But I think, there is a lot more on the line here for the Redskins the football team. Because if the football team can win this week, I think it puts them clearly in the driver's seat to win the NFC East, if not pretty much solidifies it for them. The reason being is all the teams in the NFC East are playing really tough games this week. I mean, we've already talked about the Cowboys playing the 49ers. You got who else? You got Philly's playing Arizona, which we're going to talk about later on.
Yep.
You got the Giants playing the Browns. So all of them have tough games this week. Nobody has a give me this week. So anybody that comes out with a win this week, it really puts you in a good spot going into next week. And I think that the football team understand that, and they're going to come out at home ready to play against Russell Wilson and that team. And Chase Young, I think this is going to be his coming out. He's going to step up and make some plays against this Seattle offense. I believe that they can get it done. The only question mark I have, it looks like Dwayne Haskins is starting.
Yes, and shout out to Lee. He says, I agree if Alex Smith isn't a driver's seat, you think Haskins has what it takes to win this duel?
I think – if it were Alex Smith, I'd probably be about 90% with them winning this game. If it were Alex Smith, with Dwayne Haskins, I'm down to more so like a 55%. The only reason why I'm saying that is I don't know if Dwayne Haskins can win a duel, but I think because he was benched earlier in the season, he has something to play for. He has something to prove. He's playing for his career here. Because if you play poorly in this game and whatever games you get to play moving forward, who's going to pick Dwayne Haskins up? Like, who wants to take a shot on him? Nobody. So
maybe the Panthers. You can bring him in with PJ Walker and compete.
No, they're not going to pick him up, or sure they can pick him up as a backup.
Yeah.
And hope he gets some kind of clout as a backup for a little while or some shine. But let's be honest, this is his opportunity, and I think it's going to light a fire because he wasn't playing poorly before they benched him. I think it's going to light a fire under him. He's had a time to sit on the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if he come out and he light up Seattle.
Okay. I like what you're saying. I'm listening. Now, the question I have is, if we're talking about quarterback duels, and I hope, Lee, you're listening as well, you know who quarterbacks that Seahawks team, right? That bad man we call Russ. We call Sierra husband. That's who that is, right? Okay, and with Mr. Jerry Curl taking the snaps, it ain't no Washington football team quarterback that is going to outduel Russell Wilson, Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Donovan McNabb, Jason Campbell, Joe Theismann, Doug Williams. It don't matter. Russell Wilson. That's who it is. He gonna outduel no matter who the quarterback is for Washington. That's who gonna win that quarterback duel. Okay, y'all need to stop being disrespectful because Russell Wilson might just be the best black quarterback of our generation. Might be, like I said, might be. He still got a couple more years to play. 2 Super Bowl appearances. Should have had 2 Super Bowl rings if they ran the damn ball. But that's another story for another day. And for this game, I'm taking the Seahawks because Ishmael, whatever's in your cup, you tripping if you think I'm taking the Washington football team.
Okay.
Alrighty then. So, Bears versus Vikings, a NFC North matchup. We saw what the Bears did against the Texans last week, and we saw what the Vikings did against the Buccaneers last week to help us with these picks. And I honestly feel like the Bears are going to take care of business. We know the Vikings have Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen. At the end of the day, it comes down to Mr. Fake-ass Captain America, Kirk Cousins. Yes, I said what I said. And yes, and at the end of the day, when it comes to not getting the job done, that is the poster child as well with a couple other quarterbacks. So I just don't see it happening for the Vikings. That's why I'm picking the Bears.
You know, I'm actually really torn on this game. I'm kind of back and forth because I feel like when we don't pick the Vikings, that's when the Vikings go up. Yes. And I also feel like I went against the Bears last week, and then they were real disrespectful to the Texans and just decided that they were going to spank up on them. So I don't know. I'm kind of in a conundrum here because I kind of want to pick the Vikings because I feel like the Vikings should, respond after getting beaten by the Buccaneers. But then that Bears defense, after how disrespectful they were to the Texans, I kind of feel like they're going to come out and do the same thing to the Vikings. So I'm going to go with the Bears because I think they got the better defense. And I don't like both quarterbacks. And if I'm not confident about your quarterback, then I'm going to go with the defense. So, I'm going to go with the Bears. But
I will say this as well. If this was not a COVID year and this was a game that had fans in the stands, I might pick the Vikings. Just because, yes. We talking about why.
Why?
We talking about why.
Nobody care about what is their stadium? Nobody cares about Minnesota.
Nobody. First of all, it's called U.S. Bank Field. First of all, and that new stadium is very beautiful. Probably one of the best stadiums in the league. If you ever get a chance to go to Minnesota and go check it out, go ahead and do so. And second off, if you go check out that Aaron Rodgers interview that he did yesterday, he said week 1 when we played against the Vikings, which is easily one of the toughest places that I have to play in, without those fans being there, it was weird hearing just clapping on the sideline. I've never heard that in my 16-year career in Minnesota. So with that coming from that bad man, I'm going to take his word on it and not Sigonius' word on it when it comes to the fan level and the decibel level in Minnesota. So don't be disrespectful, sir.
Nah, you should take my word for it because I'm coming from the best stadium in the NFL.
Please don't you goddamn say no damn Arrowhead Stadium. I'm going to slap shit at you.
What?
You heard me. Y'all got beat. It's a 12-man Seattle. Seattle,
no,
son.
Arrowhead
Seattle.
Stadium in the world.
It went back and forth. All right. It was Seattle first. It was Arrowhead. Seattle got it, and then Arrowhead got it. I know who got it. I just don't want to give it to y'all.
Well, give it to us. Okay?
No.
Best stadium, the loudest fans. I know something about loud fans. Minnesota, go sit down. Y'all not even in the top, whatever.
Who you think you are? You think you Rick James talking about give it to me, baby? You think you Rick James or something? No. The only team that about to give it to the babies is these Titans on these Lions. These little kitty cats.
Next time we're going to see about some Rick James.
We can. And you already know I'm about to Dave Chappelle your couch too. Anyway, like I said, with these pussycat we call the Lions, every time I think of this matchup, I always honestly think of when the Titans played the Lions on Christmas Day about 12 years ago. Of course, we won that game. CJ 2K, shout out to you. But with this Lions team, Matt Stafford is supposed to be playing with messed up ribs and a fractured thumb. He's supposed to be playing this game. I mean, that is apparently the Detroit Lions Iron Man. They love him very much. But I feel like they are putting this guy in harm's way. And when we talk about franchises that waste talent, we talk about the Texans. The Lions are the poster child for wasting talent. And they are going to do the same thing with Matt Stafford. And depending on what Stafford wants to do, will we see him leave the Lions soon to go pursue a Super Bowl somewhere else? Or will he just say, I'm just going to take the money and just be the greatest Lions quarterback to ever play?
I think he's just going to take the money. I don't think that he can. I don't think if he wanted to leave, he should have left already. That's just how I feel. I feel like it's too late now. Who out here is calling for Matt Stafford to play for your team? I mean, if you're watching the show right now, you in the comments and you are
good question, Ish. Good question
for your team. Go ahead and comment out so I can see who you are, and then make sure that we block you from the page because obviously you don't know anything about football. Because I don't think any fan in their right mind should be calling for Matt Stafford to play for their team. He's cool for the Lions. Anybody else?
What about Jacksonville? I mean, you got Jacksonville out here. You got
go ahead and draft. Go ahead and draft the quarterback.
You got the Jets.
Go ahead and draft the quarterback. Don't worry about Matt Stafford.
The Panthers.
Stick with Teddy Bridgewater. Don't worry about Matt Stafford.
All right, the Patriots next year.
Go ahead and give Jarrett Stidham a chance. Go ahead. Go ahead and give Jameis Winston a chance.
We'll see.
I do like that comment that you say there.
The Colts got better with Rivers. Wouldn't Matt be an upgrade from Rivers? Let's be honest, though. Did the Colts really get better with Rivers?
Yeah,
think so? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they
didn't do horrible. But
yeah,
I would say they're in a better spot than they were with Jacoby Brissett. So, yeah, you kind of have to say that they did better with Phillip Rivers. But then again, I think it's kind of a toss-up because Jacoby Brissett, they went on a run towards the end of last season.
They did.
I think we kind of discount how well they did after they started poorly. And that's why Jacoby Brissett got, passed by Phillip Rivers, not to mention it's Phillip Rivers. Jacoby Brissett, you could take him to New England, or Jacoby Brissett could go to Jacksonville. Like, I would replace Matt Stafford and do the Jacoby Brissett to all the places you named before I go with Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford is kind of old. I think he's been in a losing organization for too long. I don't want him to bring him into a culture. If we have a pretty decent culture, or I wouldn't want to even bring him in if we had like a lot of young guys in the locker room, because I don't want somebody from the Lions organization to come infect us. And that probably is the main reason why I wouldn't want him on any team is I don't want to be infected by whatever the Lions got going over there in Detroit.
So what you're saying is the Lions have Corona.
Something like that.
They got the Rona. And just before we leave this topic, I would also like to say the Titans, since week 11, have scored 35 points per game, which is leading the NFL. So, yes, that is more than the Chiefs, more than the Rams, more than anybody else in the NFL. So, we will continue.
For all the garbage time touchdowns y'all want, nobody cares.
You done? You done? You done? Are you done, son?
So the Oilers can come on ahead, go to Arrowhead again, Oilers, bring it in there, and we're going to send y'all home once again.
Run it back. Run it back.
y'all got to get past Cleveland first.
How about this? How about look? If it's AFC, hold on. If it's AFC Championship game, hold on. I'm gonna move this out the way. If it is AFC Championship game, Titans versus Chiefs in Arrowhead, X Williams and Ish are going to Kansas City for that game. We're gonna broadcast live from Kansas City if Ish's wife lets them.
I have no problem with that.
Already.
No problem with going back to KC.
And we're going to broadcast live in that 6-degree weather. I'm going to be cold as hell, but we're going to do it.
When it was -10, I'm fine with going. I don't care how cold it is. I'm going to Arrowhead ready to cheer on the Chiefs.
We gonna see. Alrighty then. Patriots versus Dolphins. This is normally when Tom Brady was playing for the Patriots. This is normally the game that the Patriots lose when they go down to Miami. They get their little winter break in and go to Miami and chill a little bit and don't perform well in Miami. It seems like that always happens with that Tom Brady-led team. So with Cam Newton leading the way, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they have the upset and surprise everybody in beating Miami. But I think Miami is just too good right now on the defensive side to let that happen. And I also feel like, because I called it last week, I said Xavier Howard was going to have an interception against the Chiefs, and he did. I think he also gets another one this game and leads the NFL. He already leads the NFL with 9, but he'll be the first player in 10 years to have double-digit interceptions, and I think he'll do that in this game.
It's not going to happen in this game. The reason why it's not going to happen...
Patriots going to run the ball?
Well, Cam Newton has to get it close to a receiver in order for him to be able to intercept the ball.
If the ball ain't close to the receiver, then hello, there you go. DB, go ahead, scoop it up and score. There you go.
Well, yeah, there you go. Cam might actually just throw it straight to him. So
there you go.
Because Cam just missed the receiver and throw it straight to him. I don't trust Cam Newton in that offense. They've been up and down all year. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they come out this game and decide that they want to play well like they did against the Chargers.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they run up like 35 points on the Dolphins, and we're looking
just like what the
looking after the game like, wait, what? How did that happen?
I can see that happening too. Yeah.
But I just don't trust them. I don't see how anybody could trust them. The defense as well has been up and down. Not what you expect from a Bill Belichick defense, although they did have a lot of people that opted out of the season. They had some injuries as well. So, okay, I can see that happening. I believe the Dolphins know what is at stake here. They need, although they can't win the AFC East anymore, they need to keep pace with the rest of the teams that are challenging for playoff spots in the AFC. And as a result, they're going to come out ready to play, and they're going to beat their old nemesis, the Patriots. They showed that they could do it last year. I think they can continue doing it. And I think this may be, I'm sorry, everybody's been saying like the end of an era all year for the Patriots, but this right here could be the end of the era. Like this could be the final like confirmation. The division has moved away from New England. It has gone to Buffalo and Miami, and those are teams that will be battling for the AFC East moving forward until New England completes their rebuilding process, if they ever complete it, because what's going on in New England right now, I think, is a little bit beyond. It goes beyond just a simple rebuild. I think there may be some implications there with Bill Belichick coming up in the next couple of years. Maybe that's why Josh McDaniels didn't leave. He might know something.
He might take over his role, kind of like Eric Bieniemy, trying to stay in Kansas City and take over for Eric Reed. Andy Reid. I'm sorry.
Coming up in New England, but I think that there's a lot more going on there, and I think this game, once the Dolphins win this game, there you go. Let's wrap it up. New England, we'll see you in 10 years or whatever.
We shall see. Just to caveat on something that Ish brings up all the time about Bill Belichick facing rookie quarterbacks. At the moment, rookie quarterbacks are 7-21 against Bill Belichick, so that's something we will have to see how that plays out as well with Tua starting. Jacksonville versus Ravens. Not going to spend too much time on this game because this game should go the way that it should go with the Ravens winning. The only thing I want to see from Lamar, to be completely honest, from this game, I want to see a complete game from Lamar Jackson.
You're not going to see it.
So I want to because this is supposed to. You need to. This is the game that you need to get and prepared for in the playoffs. I need you to have more passing yards than rushing yards, and I need you I need you to pick apart the Jacksonville defense and have a good game moving into the playoffs.
How many times do I have to say it? You're not going to see it
All right.
because they're going to run on the Jags. They're going to get up, and then they're just going to keep running. I wouldn't be surprised to see Trace McSorley come in because I don't think that the Jags are going to keep it that close. Excuse me. We've come in and we said it week in and week out. It's pretty easy to game plan against the Ravens. Just stack the box. But for some reason, nobody can stop them with running the ball. So I expect the same. They're going to come in, run the ball, and then they're not even going to have to throw the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if he does not throw the ball more than maybe 12 or 13 times.
Yeah, we'll definitely see the Baltimore Ravens at this moment did score 34-plus points in the last two games, so we'll see if that carries over to the Jacksonville game. Another NFC South matchup with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. The Buccaneers seems like they got some type of cohesion back with their offense playing against the Vikings. We'll see if that translates over playing against the Falcons in Atlanta. Atlanta has the offense. It's just we don't know if their defense likes to show up. So it's going to be very interesting to see this game. I think the Buccaneers should take care of business, and we should see them in the playoffs. But I don't want to see them have a close game with the Falcons. If we want to take them seriously as an upset type of team in the wild card, take care of business here, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, if the Falcons find a way to win this game, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, something needs to go on there. I expect them to come out win this game like they should, and just keep it moving. Really, there's not much to say here. They just need to win the game and keep it moving.
Definitely agree, and that's why we're going to go ahead and get on to the better game, which is the battle of the old Oklahoma quarterbacks with Jalen Hurts, and I definitely just forgot his name. Kyler Murray. There we go. I don't know why I was about to call him Adam. I was about to call him Adam Murray. That's my fault. Wow. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Toddler. Yeah, you ain't lying. But anyways, the bad little toddler against the grown toddler, Jalen Hurts. And before we get into this actual game, I want to talk about the reports on Carson Wentz this morning saying he does not want to be a part of the Eagles organization if the Eagles decide to move forward with Jalen Hurts as the starter. Now, after hearing that, how do we feel about Carson Wentz?
How do we feel about Carson Wentz after hearing that? I can see why they played so poorly, and I can see why it seemed like the players played better for Jalen Hurts than they did when Carson Wentz was in there. That doesn't scream a leader to me. That doesn't scream like a kind of guy that I want at quarterback for my team. I mean, it does in the sense of, yeah, he wants to be out there, he wants to play. But at the same time, you've played poorly and you haven't deserved to be the starting quarterback for weeks now, and they stuck with you and you still didn't return anything for them. So for you then to come out after 1 week of sitting behind Jalen Hurts and say, oh, you're not interested in being a backup, that's funny, because who wants to take Carson Wentz to start? Where are you going to go? Most places they have their quarterbacks found out beside some of the teams we named before, like Jacksonville, the Jets, which those two teams are probably drafting 1-2 and getting Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, most likely. So then where are you going? Because who wants to bring in Carson Wentz, who already has made it clear he doesn't want to be a backup, to be the heir apparent or the leading guy for a rookie you're trying to groom? Nobody. So Carson Wentz, what did this accomplish for you? Like, I honestly want to know what this accomplished for him to come out and make this statement, because I thought the best thing for him was to sit there and allow
Hurts to mess up and do what he needs to do, and then you come in and just take the reins over again.
So much money, they're not going to get rid of you, and there's still going to be fans that are going to be like, hey, we're paying this guy all this money.
We want to see him play.
So they're going to put you back in. Like, why you mess this up for yourself? Because what you have done is made yourself untouchable. People can't touch you now. Nobody, if somebody wanted to trade for him, how can you trade for a guy like this now?
I will say this, though. He's not untouchable to two teams. Let's remember Frank Wright in in Indianapolis at the moment as offensive coordinator when he was
They have
in
Jacoby Brissett behind Phillip Rivers. Even if Phillip Rivers retires, you're going to take Carson Wentz over Jacoby Brissett now?
the same way with P.J. Walker in Carolina. We do know there are coaches that will take certain players because they have history with them. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. I would not be surprised at all if he's in Indy or New England next year. So
I can see the New England, and that to me would just be, oh my gosh!
Come on, let it out, Ish.
No, I mean I think that would be, to me, it would be another example of the Sam Bradford situation where Sam Bradford was running around the NFL after he got hurt.
Got paid not just his rookie contract, but also the second contract he got paid.
He was getting paid a lot of money to go all over these places when he continued to be mediocre and get hurt. Carson Wentz has already proven he lacks durability, right? Now you're going to put him in New England, who they don't really have the best line in the world as of right now. So you're going to put Carson Wentz behind them and hope that he holds up. How much money are you paying Carson Wentz? Now, if you're getting Carson Wentz,
and you know the Patriots ain't about paying people unless it ain't even Tom Brady. They only pay Tom Brady. So I understand completely when it comes to that Patriots notion, but I feel more about going to going to Indianapolis would be a better fit for him because of career numbers, comfortability, familiarity with the coach, and being able to quote unquote start over with a new franchise.
But what are you, dude? He's locked in the contract, so and I don't think the Eagles are releasing him. To get Carson Wentz.
I mean, do you get Jacoby Brissett? Do you make that trade for maybe Jacoby Brissett or something?
Not if you believe in Jalen Hurts, because that's just going to create more.
But you trade him to get him as a backup to back up Jalen Hurts, and you also get.
I'm making. If
I understand, you're correct.
I'm trading for the house. Like y'all gonna give me some good picks. I don't want Jacoby.
But what's also messed up as well, you can't really, as the Eagles organization, you can't really ask for too much. He hasn't done nothing to ask for the house. That's the thing. It's like
his contract has done enough.
You are correct. You are correct. We're gonna have to wait and talk about that another day.
We'll have to talk about that at the season recap.
Yes, and just to talk about the game a little bit before we get on to the next topic. Like we said, we are split on this one because I feel like the Eagles should play well. They should win this game. Cardinals for Ishmael because of bad luck. Tyler Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald should take care of business.
And I think that defense will come out. They have tape on Jalen Hurts now, a full week of tape. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to game plan for him, and it's going to be a little more difficult for Jalen Hurts this week.
We will wait and see. All right, Jets and Rams. Sorry about that. Jets and Rams, of course, that same old for this game. Rams should take care of business. Honestly, not even worried about the way that this game is going to go because
they're throwing the season. I'm not even worried about them.
Well, like Ish said, they're throwing the season. I don't think so. I think they're playing very hard, competitive football. And Greg Williams made a great coaching move with the all-out blitz. And Ishmael is tripping when it comes to the Jets throwing games.
Okay.
All right, Chiefs and Saints. This is another good game that we want to talk about right quick before we get up out of here. We are, as you can see, split on this one because
you refuse to just go with what you know.
That's not what I'm doing.
You refuse to do it. Every week you come in here and you try to disrespect my team like this. Like I just don't understand.
Hold on. At least I'll call your team by their actual name, sir. I could call you the Dallas Texans if you wanted me to.
That is your team's name.
Let me call you the Dallas Texans.
The Oilers.
All right, Texans. Go ahead.
Hey, that's fine.
The Texans versus the Saints.
I'd rather them represent the Texans.
So you saying you want them to represent Dallas? You a Houstonian and you want something good to happen to Dallas?
I would rather
you're disgusting.
The Texan.
You're disgusting.
Right now than the current Texans. Okay, so if that's
you're disgusting, you Dallas person.
You support in Nashville. They are the Oilers, okay? That is their name. They got the little Oiler patch on the jersey and everything. They're Oilers, okay? Now, getting back to your blatant disrespect for the Chiefs, because you can.
It's not disrespect, because I'm gonna explain why I picked the Saints. But continue.
to disrespect my team and just choose whoever. You chose the Dolphins last week. I mean, anybody. You just go ahead and choose anybody.
You act like they got blown out.
At this point, I believe you would probably come in and make an excuse for why you think the Jets would beat the Chiefs.
I was just about to bring them up too. I like the Jets gonna beat y'all too. They gonna get their first win in the season, and they excited. This they Super Bowl, and I'm gonna hype that shit up too. The Jets gonna win too. You gonna be upset.
Go ahead. Explain to the people why you decided to disrespect my team again.
First of all, no disrespect. It has everything to do with what I see. I test again. We have Drew Brees coming back. He has to get some type of rhythm. I'm not saying he's going to come out here and throw 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he has to get some type of rhythm going into the playoffs. We need Drew Brees to play well if you are a Saints fan moving into the playoffs. I don't see Drew Brees being the main person to beat the Chiefs. I see this being a team effort, more so on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. The Saints know that the Chiefs offense is world class. Mm-hmm. That puts more pressure on the Saints defense to have a great game, which I think they will, being led by Demario Davis. I feel like they will have a really, really good game on defense. Like we talked about in pre-show. As long as they keep them under 30 points, which is very hard to do, and also just like in any team, if they were to keep the Chiefs under 30 points, you have an opportunity to win. I feel like the Saints can do that being at home, even though there are no elements. With them being dome, sweet dome, I think the Saints can pull out a 2-point victory against the Chiefs.
Okay, let me just say this. You make some good points. Janoris Jenkins, they don't have bums in that secondary for New Orleans, right? Like they got some guys that can play, right? Janoris Jenkins, Marcus Lattimore, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. They got guys that can play in that secondary. So I'm not going to completely disrespect that secondary like that. But let me just say this. In your argument for the Saints, you made the argument for the Chiefs. They're playing indoors in New Orleans, no elements. Patrick Mahomes can slang that rock however he wants to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who arguably are the best receiving duo in the NFL, with the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably. Let me just go ahead and say that, because some of y'all are going to say Aaron Rodgers. Y'all may say Russell Wilson. That's fine. Arguably the best quarterback in the league is tossing to the best receiving duo.
Aaron Rodgers thrown 40 touchdowns this year with nobodies.
Whatever. Indoors, the Chiefs offense are going to run wild. I think this is a statement game again, like I said a couple weeks ago when they were playing Tampa Bay, and then you didn't believe me, and then what happened? Tyreek Hill only came out and got over 200 yards receiving in the first quarter. So I think this is a statement game again for Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. I think they're going to come out. They're going to let Patrick Mahomes sling that rock. I think Drew Brees coming back is a mistake on the Saints' part. You don't need to win this game, but you're going to put Drew Brees in harm's way. And let's just say this. The Chiefs don't got bums on the defensive line. They got people that are rushing the passer. And Drew Brees, if you are not completely healed, this defensive line may just hurt that man again. I'm not saying I'm hoping for them to hurt him again. I don't want that.
You're correct.
It's a possibility. Why would you put that man in harm's way like that? Because the secondary, without Michael Thomas, no Michael Thomas on the Saints.
So we're gonna disrespect. Hold on. So we're gonna disrespect Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is a receiving running back. He's going to be used a lot.
I got all respect for my brother Alvin Kamara down there. I got all the respect in the world. You know, that's my boy.
But forget him, though.
I rep him all day. I got your back. But at the same time, it's just you now. Because you got a bum Drew Brees coming back, who's still hurt, and you got no Michael Thomas. Who are we leaning on beside Alvin Kamara? It's the same thing.
Hello, Morgan Freeman, lean on me. Hello.
It's the same thing in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey and why they ended up getting him hurt. When you don't have the receiving core around that guy and you lean solely on the running back like that, you're going to get him hurt. Last year, Kamara got hurt. This year, come on, man.
I mean, you made some good points. You made some good points, but the Saints still going to win this game. So we'll see what happens in the recap show on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, we're going to see when comes in again to apologize.
And I'll be right, and you're going to be looking like a sad puppy. Wrong yet again. All right, Browns versus Giants. This game should go the way it should, with the Browns taking care of business. But the reason why this game got flexed to the Sunday night game, because previously it was, unfortunately, the Cowboys playing this Sunday night game, which nobody wanted to see. This is actually should be a little bit of a competitive game because at the moment the Giants are leading the NFC East, and they need this win to continue to lead the East because if the Washington football team wins, then they should be able to jump the Giants and be number one at the moment. So with the Browns and this Giants matchup, even though we picked the Browns, do you feel like the Giants might actually be able to pull off this upset playing it at home?
I think it's possible because we saw what they did 2 weeks ago against Seattle. But at the same time, I think it's hard to say that they're going to do that against the Browns because the difference between Seattle and Cleveland, not to say that Cleveland has a better offense than them, but
they have a better running game.
It's a better matchup for Cleveland because of that running game. Mm-hmm. I think that running game is what makes the difference for them as opposed to Seattle, who they've got a decent run game, but they don't have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And then Kareem Hunt out of the backfield, or even when they split him out wide, makes a whole matchup issue for your defense. And that's why, for me, I just think the Browns have too much for the Giants. I do think the Giants may make it close, but I think the Browns ultimately with that running game and Kareem Hunt being that X factor to spread out, not to mention Baker Mayfield has been playing really well. And we may need to go back in the season review and the season recap and talk about how Baker looked after Odell got hurt.
Ooh,
we did say
yes, we did. We did
play better, and he has played better. So we need to address that because you got Odell coming back next year. What do you do? Do you want to get rid of him? I think you get rid of him because I think they've proven that they've got a good match. Like they've got a good cohesive
good thing going on. Now you're right. I mean. And I'll also say this to not to make things worse for Odell, but is his stock dropping? Not just because of the injury, but the things that he does either on the field, wearing a watch, Richard Mille on the field, just not being healthy, staying on the field. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are going on with Odell that's making his stock drop and not being the guy that everybody thought he was going to be. After making the one-handed catch that everybody in the damn world has seen now.
Well, I think he's kind of, to me, and this is slightly a reach. I think to me he kind of reminds me of like a James Harden. Like he want to chase the party, he want to be the life of the party, he want to be cool with all these rappers and everything. But when it comes down to it, you're not like you are not doing what you need to do as far as being that guy on the team to help your team succeed. Now, James Harden, he leads the team, he scores all these points, but the culture of the team is poor because James Harden wants to go do all these things. I think Odell kind of hurts the culture of that team because of all the stuff that he does, the antics. Apparently last year, at one point they were saying he was telling teams, come get me, I'm available, I'm talking to the Steelers or whatever. Like that kind of stuff. You can't have a guy on your team doing things like that.
Remember Earl Thomas was doing that at one point when he was telling Jerry Jones, come get me. Look at him now. He ain't not even in the league anymore at the moment because Derrick Henry stiff-armed him out of the Ravens organization.
Now OBJ is different because he's younger. He's still got years to go, so somebody will pick him up. But I think if I'm the Browns, I stay away from that. I get rid of him, and we keep moving with what we got.
Definitely understand. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with the Steelers and Bengals. This is one of the games, honestly.
They should have out of here.
We're not even really going to talk about this game. The Steelers should take care of business. If they do not, I'm sorry. We have to have some questions on the Steelers because that would be 0-3 against two okay teams and one decent team, and now we have to really question the Steelers moving into the playoffs.
Nah, don't do the Bills like that.
I said my bad. The Bengals in the last week when they lost to the Washington football team.
Right. They lost to the Bills last week, which
and then they lost. My bad, and they lost to Washington.
They lost to Washington before. Yeah,
so that's an okay. That's an okay team. This will be an okay team, and then I'm talking about the Bills being, the only good team that they lost to. My bad.
All right,
my bad.
No, but I misunderstood that.
You're good. But like I said, the Steelers should take care of business. If they don't, that's on them, and we have to wait and see what happens with the Steelers moving forward because it's gonna be very interesting at the playoffs. Because at the playoff seeding at the moment, the Chiefs are 1, Steelers are 2, Bills at 3. Their updated record as well as on there 11-3. Titans are at 4. Browns are at 5. Colts are 6. Dolphins are at 7. In the NFC, the Packers are at 1. Saints are at 2. Rams are at 3. Washington's 4. Seahawks 5, Buccaneers 6, and Cardinals are at 7. And like we talked about before on the recap show, on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, we will definitely update all the standings and all the playoff seedings, and we'll definitely talk more about what we see today on Tuesday, because even though this week is not as important playoff implication-wise like it was last week, I think we're going to see a lot of good games because this is just that time for guys to have to be a little bit more competitive, put a little bit more oomph into every play, because every play really matters.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, while there aren't a lot of direct playoff matchups, there are a lot of games that teams need to win to put themselves in the right spot for next week and then the last week of the season. So you're right. I mean, it's still important. While you may not be playing somebody that is directly in the hunt with you, it's still important for you to go out and do what you need to do and close these games out in order to put yourself in great spots, because there are a lot of divisional matchups in Week 17. And those games are going to be interesting.
Yes, sir.
Because there could be some teams that lose to a divisional rival that's not even in the playoff hunt that get knocked out of the playoffs.
Yes, sir. And it's going to be very interesting to watch. And as always, we appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Week 15 preview show. See you guys on Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, for the Week 15 recap show with X Williams and Ishmael Siryon. See you guys next time.
Peace.